There's not a lack of options. The hardest part is deciding, is making a decision, is cutting off from all other options and confidently moving forward. But if you do that, magic happens, right?
Having a foundational, strong relationship with somebody, to me, is one of the most important things.
Action creates clarity. Clarity creates confidence. And I'll tell you what, confidence plays a huge role in getting results these days.
Hi, Seth. Welcome to the Salty City Podcast.
Good morning, Lindsay. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
Yes, I'm so excited to have you here.
Thank you very much. I've been excited about it.
Yeah.
We've been talking about this for a little bit.
Yes, we have. And you were in Utah today, so...
Well, I couldn't miss it. I mean, the opportunity to stop by, see the studio, and say hi to you. We've been working together for a little while now.
Yes.
But we haven't had the opportunity to meet in person until now.
Yeah.
So it's a great opportunity to see you crush it live, so to speak.
I love it. So just to kind of give a backstory, Seth is my coach.
Yes, I am.
Which is awesome. We've met a lot over Zoom. And it is cool. It's cool to see you in person. It's fun to meet live, have you on today, and just kind of crush it hard.
Yeah, for sure. It's always interesting, what you visualize someone to be versus what they are in person, right?
Yeah.
But so far we've made a good impression on each other. We work well together, and you've had some successes in your business and made some big decisions.
Yes, very big decisions, big transitions.
It sounds like some announcements to come in the future, for sure.
Yes, I think a lot of good announcements to come. And it's been super helpful. It's funny because when, I worked in the corporate life and was, building my career and being a piece of that, I guess, we always had some sort of mentorship or leadership coach, someone that we were always working with in the business, right? That kind of helped you build up in your career with that corporation. And you and I started working together. It's been, a month and a half now, 2 months?
Yeah, time has flown, and we've taken the rapid approach, which is as fast as we can accomplish goals, we'll readdress them, right?
Yeah.
A lot of coaches and a lot of systems say, hey, we'll meet every week, and we'll see how you're doing. Our approach has been, okay, how fast can we make that happen?
Can we move?
Right.
Yeah.
And that seems to be appropriate now in these general times. Speed matters, right?
Yes, it does.
And our number one thing that you and I have worked on that has really been a joy is there's not a lack of opportunity within the world.
Right.
There's not a lack of options. The hardest part is deciding, is making a decision, is cutting off from all other options and confidently moving forward. But if you do that, magic happens, right?
Yeah.
And that's why you and I decided to get together, is we wanted to talk about a few things, but what it takes to be successful these days as a business owner. We're in a really great area with tons of entrepreneurs, but what separates the diamonds from the chaff, so to speak, right?
Yeah, no, and I think that's what's been so helpful for me is to have that guidance, especially being on my own. These are my businesses, I'm trying to build everything up, and until we really started talking and working together, that I was like, oh, wow, I really do need a coach right now. I really do need this mentorship because it helps me keep my focus in line 100%. And yes, fast track. And you probably picked up on that with me very quickly that I am going 100 miles an hour in my head.
I think we all are. And look, it's been a wild ride. I joke that I get to really just talk with cool people all day. But it is a challenge, right? To decide, okay, this is the one thing I'm going to make happen within my business. And thus far, you've been successful. what I would say there is that we tend to like overcomplicate business. And I feel like we're kind of interviewing each other
Yeah.
in this, right? About our life experiences. And you've had a lot of a corporate experience. But the one thing that I know we've kind of bonded over or maybe recognized as similarities is that there's a lot of different experiences to be had in business. There's a lot of great leaders out there, but there's far more, I'm not going to say mediocre, I'm going to say unaware leaders out there, unaware business owners. And we just don't have good models anymore. So that's what I appreciate about this podcast is that you're bringing people on and yourself showcasing what it is to be a good communicator, a good leader, a good connector of people.
Yeah.
And hopefully it's inspiring a few people out there.
I hope so.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, definitely. That's definitely the main goal. I mean, there's so many, like you said, there's so much opportunity, and just to be inspired to go for it or, pull the trigger and navigate that to come. There is so much out there to be had that it's exciting. Like, I hope people are watching, I hope people are listening, going, oh, I have this idea, maybe I can do that, maybe I can start my own business, or maybe I can go into real estate or whatever it might be. That's something I love, and that's the goal.
Sure. And maybe that's really the goal of our conversation today is like, what do you do if you have an idea? What action are you going to take? How are you going to get out of your own way? The reality is I think there's probably a lot more people in the world thinking about, okay, what can I do? How can I change my career? How can I start my own business? If I'm not going to start my own business, how can I be more valuable at work?
Yeah.
Right? Because going to work, getting a paycheck, going home, and having a storage unit full of stuff just is not rewarding, and it's not a good equation anymore.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
Yeah. So, what that inspires for me, and you and I talked about this, is who do I want to serve? Right? We talked about who we want to serve, and I feel like so many people right now, I mean, you tell me, it seems like people are really hungry for just basic quality service. We've lost that ability to communicate with each other.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I would agree. I think service and quality in that service is what people are thriving to have right now.
Yes, they absolutely are. And it doesn't take a lot.
No.
It is literally just simple things done well. And you and I talked about that. That's really all luxury is.
Yeah.
It's just simple things done well. It's attention to detail.
Yeah.
Right. And if we can anticipate people's needs, then we can start to formulate solutions to address them, which is what really makes business fun.
Yeah, makes it a lot of fun.
I mean, you and I, we talk all the time, and it's not you telling me what you need. I'll be bold sometimes and say, hey, I think this is what's going on.
Yeah.
Right. And I think everybody in their business can be more of a consultant.
Yeah.
Right. Because we're not looking to bring on employees or specialists necessarily that we can just boss around. We're looking for people that can add value to our lives.
100%.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are some of the things that you found helpful in our sessions? If I were going to throw a question, back
right.
to you. Yeah. What have you found most helpful, or even just most energizing?
Yeah, I love our sessions, and we'll have like a 30-minute session, and it just really like sets my day. I love that we do it in the morning, and we're kind of hitting on different pieces. But one thing, I guess, an area that I have found like of high value in us meeting together, our sessions, is I'm bringing these ideas, and I'm bringing like to the table what I want to accomplish, where I'm trying to take my business, and you formulate it in a way that helps me make more clear decisions when we're going through different ideas. Just like how you said, what type of client do you want to serve? What do you want that to look like? It narrow focuses down to the point that I can make better decisions.
Mm-hmm.
I can make quick decisions, and I can formulate what I'm doing around that. And that is what I think has been the most helpful. It just puts you on, a path of knowing exactly what you want to do, where you're going, who you want to serve, why, instead of trying to figure it all out on your own.
Yeah, 100%. And, the thought that inspires is that I think there's probably a lot of people out there who want to launch a business and they think, well, I want to serve this person and this person. And I don't want to, push away business. Well, that's not the point. It's how am I going to formulate an experience if I can't visualize one person?
Yeah.
Right? There's a lot of power in that.
Yeah.
And so what that allows us to do, if we visualize who we want to serve, who that person is, what their fears are, what their ideal vacation is, what goes through their mind right before they go to bed, what their favorite food is, right? What emotions are going to trigger them to take certain actions. Then actually running a business or even talking on a podcast is super easy.
Yeah.
I work with a lot of people, and we've both worked with a lot of people and done speaking and those types of things. It becomes a lot easier when instead of visualizing, oh my gosh, I'm talking with thousands of people right now.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty intimidating. That can get even my heart rate up, right?
Yeah. 100%.
The reality is we have, if we keep one person in our mind, right? And we want to just create impact for that one person, it'll spread.
Yeah.
It'll spread. And I think that everybody today, when it comes to social media and growing their business, is just so obsessed with talking with the masses rather than just communicating genuinely and having conversations like this.
Yeah.
You agree?
Oh, 100%. For sure. And when I am in I'm going to call it my authentic self, and I'm being genuine in what I'm communicating, where I'm going, I perform 100% better.
Yeah.
If
right.
not, I'm a mess. It doesn't come out well.
Well, and so are your clients, right?
Exactly.
If we don't show up and we're not willing to be honest and we're not, being a coach or being a real estate agent or running any kind of business is kind of a weird thing, because if you do your job for the most part, you will get fired.
Yeah.
Right? And you do it in two ways. Either you get someone to the point where they are successful and they don't need you anymore, which is kind of like being a parent. Being a parent's really weird because to be successful means that you'll be alone, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
really,
truly.
Yeah, no, I really never thought of it like that.
Yeah,
but it's true.
It is, right? I talk with parents all the time, and there's that moniker of family time's really important because you'll spend 19 years with your kids, 18 years at home, and then 1 year spread out over the rest of your life, right? If you're lucky.
Yeah.
But I digress. Moving back to business, right? It's so important to be authentic and to be honest, because you can't truly serve people. Even if they don't like what you're hearing, you can still set up the expectation of, look, working, if you have big goals, whether it's in real estate or business or life, you might not always like what I have to say because I'm representing your goals.
Right.
I'm representing the future you.
Yeah.
And if you get in the way of that, my job is to point that out.
Yeah.
But we've had those experiences, right?
100%.
And what does it feel like to be confronted like that?
I mean, obviously, whenever you get confronted with something or, something's brought to your attention, it's kind of like, ooh, right? But it feels good because you need that to get better. You need that to grow. And so when you and I have been working through those things and we've had to talk through those things, I'm kind of like, ooh, but I'm really glad it's brought to attention, because how am I going to prosper and grow if I don't know that about myself?
Sure.
Or it's not brought to the table.
Well, you bring up a valuable point. Maybe only 10% of the time in consultative work do we point out things that the client doesn't already know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a powerful thing to say what people are thinking.
Right.
And it's a simple thing to do. You just have to have permission to say it.
Yeah.
You know, how scale of 1 to 10, how honest do you want me to be? And like, you're great because you're like, I already told you, Seth, be 1,000% honest, right? But you know I'm about to drop a bomb.
Yeah.
Right? There's amazing relief when we get honest. There's amazing relief when the truth is finally said.
Yeah.
And you see everybody's reactions. And I think that that's the main thing, is that, you know, for anybody that wants to grow their world or grow their business, you're really just afraid of other people's reactions.
Right.
Typically, you know what to do. You know what the problem
Right.
is.
Yeah. We just had to work through that with
Yes, exactly. Lindsay, you already know. What do you know?
you already know what you need to do. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, well, but, you know, my anxiety's coming up because of A, B, and C. So,
Yeah. You know, for instance, what did it feel like to start a podcast, you know, leading up to starting a podcast, right?
yeah.
Probably worse than it felt to actually start it.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like once you're in it, once you're going, I
Mhm.
mean, you're going. But yeah, the anxiety that kind of formulates as you're working through these ideas and deciding what you want to do, and it definitely is easier once you start it.
Mhm.
And once you start it, you realize, God, that was really easy, and how long you procrastinated doing it.
Mm-hmm.
That can be very frustrating because, you know, I look back and realistically, I wanted to start my podcast 2 years ago.
Mm.
And how easy it was once I got into it and started it. I was like, oh, I could have been doing this 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So, you know, you lose time if you wait or hesitate or don't make decisions.
Well, and who knows how much time we have left.
Yeah, exactly.
Quite honestly. I've made a lot of mistakes in my life. I'm sure I'll make a lot more. And I look forward to that.
Yeah.
You know, just today, right? I was in the wrong location for this podcast.
Oh, you were?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And that was my fault. I
Hilarious.
didn't, you know, everybody's human,
Yeah.
right? And you got to have a little bit of sense of
Yeah.
humor about it.
Yeah, of course. Well, isn't it funny? I had no idea you went to the wrong location.
No, because right, we've talked about this. Like, what is the master skill? The master skill is like, you will come up against obstacles. It's just how fast can you resolve the
Yeah.
emotion of it, right?
100%.
And laugh and have a good time. I think people are way too serious when it comes to business, quite honestly.
Yeah.
Well, and the seriousness comes from overthinking too many details. The algorithm is simple.
Yeah.
Connect, build trust, provide value,
Yeah.
and that's what makes it fun.
Yeah. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
And if things are fun, man, you can
Yeah.
go.
Well, and there's nothing more fun than learning about yourself,
Yeah.
right? What have you, through our process, learned about yourself?
A lot. A lot. I mean, we've kind of had to like dive into areas where I hold anxiousness
Mm-hmm.
and where I struggle to kind of make decisions at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's been super helpful, and kind of learning how my mind operates that way and how I can use like an equation to figure out the best decision. So, for example, when we were going through and kind of equating what areas are going to be higher success for my business. I don't know if you remember this, but we went through like three different arenas, equated them on a scale of 1 to 10, put it into a percentage, and it quickly identified what area my highest success and ROI is going to be sitting.
Mm-hmm.
And that tool decreased my anxiousness because it was setting, kind of evidence, and made me make a decision, or helped me make a decision a lot quicker.
Yeah, value-based decision making.
Yeah.
Right. So many times we get caught in a position where we're trying to feel through a decision, and you'll never find the perfect decision. In fact, almost no path that we could take is ever perfect, right?
Yeah.
And so the real opportunity is to transform feelings into numbers, right? What are my top 3 values? My top values are freedom, connection, and wealth.
Yeah.
I know that if I take a look at a business decision, or I have a bunch of options laid out on the table, I can just go down the list and score according to that.
Yeah.
Right? And I have several more values beyond that. But once you see that number at the bottom of a decision matrix, even if it's only 1 or 2 points, even if it's a close race, you still have clarity right there. And I think that that's what a lot of people are missing these days is be a process to deliver clarity in their life, because ultimately there's no perfect decisions. We just have to make decisions and take action, right?
Yeah.
We talked about that. So many of us are trained in an academic mindset, right? It's, I have to have clarity before I take action. And we're talking about getting clarity before we take action right now, but that can lead us, that can hamstring us, right?
Right.
The real thing is action. Action creates clarity. Clarity creates confidence. And I'll tell you what, confidence plays a huge role in getting results these days. Even if, I mean, in any industry, there's people who are confident, not necessarily competent, and they're winning.
Yeah.
And that's a problem. Right? And that's what you've been facing down, because you want to bring confidence and competence together.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. It all kind of molds into one and together.
Yeah, I mean, you can't escape it.
Yeah.
You can't escape it, right? Upfront confidence is what people sense because they have no experience with you, right?
Yeah.
Long-term competence is what they see.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you can't escape either. So it's just constant growth.
Yeah.
Love it.
I think being in a state of constant growth, that's where I love to be. That's where I do best, I think. If I'm not doing something new or growing, I get set back 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. Excuse me.
You're fine. Grab a drink. I know. I had my big soda swig here. I don't normally drink stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, well, I wouldn't normally be this gravelly on a Monday morning, but last night had the privilege to speak with a large group of entrepreneurs up in, where was that, Midway.
Oh, yeah.
And what a crazy event. And right now, one of the fastest growing industries is media production, podcasts, and my gosh, seeing literally 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old entrepreneurs just crush it.
Dude, that's my favorite thing.
Oh my gosh, it's amazing.
Yeah.
And they're really bringing into the science. You know, the element that I was bringing in there was on mindset.
Yeah.
And there's only 5 things that we need to look at in personal development. The first one is mindset. It's, how do I view the world? How do I view the world? How do I view myself? What are the rules that create success? What do I value? What am I hungry for? That's all mindset.
Yeah.
Right.
100%.
Then I have skill set. How do I produce a result? 3 is my tool set. These are things that amplify my work, right? We're sitting here in a studio. This is a tool.
Yeah.
Right?
100%, yeah.
Absolutely. 4th is fuel set, my level of energy. And I think that's where a lot of people struggle, is they have clarity, but they just don't have the energy to take action.
Yeah, the energy to do it.
Yep. And then finally is rule set, which is your standards.
Yeah.
And what you abide by. And I've noticed that you have high standards in your business.
I think so. Yes, I do. I think sometimes I do have high standards, and I expect high standards. And I like working with individuals with high standards. It just makes it a win-win.
Yeah, it does. And the other thing that I've noticed that you were exceptionally good at is asking questions and getting to know your clients. Like you seem to place relationships at a high premium within the work that you do.
Yeah, I love building relationships. I love networking with people, and having a foundational strong relationship with somebody to me is one of the most important things. If I can understand who that person is and what decisions they want to make and why and what's going to be best for them, that helps me execute on my business way more than not having that relationship built. And so, yeah, I find relationships to be of extreme high value. And I do value those relationships because it really creates, like I said, a win win for everybody. And you know what that individual wants, you know their needs, you know how to serve them. And one thing with me is I don't work with everybody. I do want to serve those and work with those that have a high value mindset and appreciate relationships and know the work that I'm putting in with them.
Yeah. And I'm sure they bring more of those types of people to you, right?
They do, yes.
It's amazing how relationships, how you can market a little bit less
Yeah,
and rely a little bit more on referrals.
right. 100% in any business.
Yes. Well, and I think that, that's probably a big question that I get within my business is, Seth, you're not really on social media. I value it. And I work with a lot of people and strategize on social media. I'll be quite honest, 90% of my clients are by referral.
Yeah.
And you can train people to bring you referrals, but they'll never know if you never ask. And what I notice is that people are just afraid to ask.
Right.
Right. What was one of the first things that we talked about? It was, who are you going to call?
Who are you going to call? Yeah.
Who are the most important people around you?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are stuck in loops, or they're stuck in even social circles that just are not serving them these days.
Yeah, I would agree.
Letting go of friends is one way, or at least having those honest conversations and positive confrontations is one way that we can move forward, for sure.
Oh, for sure. 100%. Yeah. It's funny that you say that your business comes off of referral and relationship base. I used to tease my husband because he owns a commercial HVAC company. And I was always like, oh, why don't you market on your trucks? Why don't you do this? Or, maybe we should do a social media account. And he's like, why?
Right.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know. And he's like, I get all of my business through referrals. I'm like, oh, okay.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so, but I would always tease him. And now I'm like, oh, that's probably great job, husband.
Well, he has a great point, right? His advocates, the people that are referring him, are actually the general contractors that he's working for, right? Work with a lot of service businesses. The ones that are killing it are the ones that have great business contacts.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And we can't be afraid to ask for business. We can't be afraid. We can't stand back and wonder whether or not we're the go-to person for our client.
Yeah.
And it doesn't harm anything to ask, hey, am I your go-to person for real estate?
Yeah.
Or who is your go-to person for real estate?
Yeah.
And even if they say, oh, it's my aunt, she's been in real estate for 20 years. Great. Who's your backup?
Yeah.
It's okay to be explicit. And I think that that's what in American culture, I have friends that are overseas and have conversations with them. And that's the one thing that they comment about is that in our society, we're not willing to ask awkward questions.
Yeah.
Right? It's highly offensive within our culture. But if you simply phrase it as, hey, can I ask you a somewhat difficult question? Or can I ask you a question that might sound forward? I've mentally prepped that person. Right? And my favorite clients of all time have had less than 100 people in their database.
Yeah.
And they're making multiple six figures, because they've taken the time to say, hey, can I be your homegirl?
Yeah, basically,
right?
Yeah. Well, you're asking permission before anything, and so it's not going to come off offensive, and two, you narrow down a list of people people that you can work with that are going to refer. And I mean, why then your scope is a little bit smaller, but you're making a big effect.
Yeah, and it does a lot just to be brave.
Yeah.
And just be blunt.
Yeah.
In fact, you're probably going to be a lot of people's favorite person. You don't have to do it with everybody, and you can still be kind.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's what I love about your brand, and I'd imagine you're getting a lot of people calling you now for, hey, I've got this thing. You're a connector.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And how often do we interact and get zero personal benefit from it? We're just connecting people.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm connecting all the time, I feel like.
Yeah.
That's definitely a strong suit. I love that piece, and it also helps you build relationships and, gain business yourself, and yeah, 100%.
The other thing that you and I have worked on is doing the deeper personal work.
Right.
Right. We like to think we're fully adult, right? but we're all just kids in adults' bodies, right?
Yeah.
And that emotional reaction that we have to things is usually just our inner child going, I don't feel safe, or I don't want to deal with the person that's on the other side of this. I don't want to see the version of myself that's in trouble.
Right.
Right. So a couple big things that are important that we've worked on are, just basic self-coaching.
Right.
Right. I feel like if someone these days, instead of just hiring a coach and leaning on them, your ultimate goal should be to learn how to self-coach.
Right.
And there's only 3 layers to that. It's, can I emotionally regulate? So can I control my emotions? Most people don't even know that their emotions can be chosen, that they are chosen.
Yeah.
Right. We do that for our kids in the first 5 years of their life.
Yeah, that's
Help
true.
them select their emotions.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, right? We're just a big ball of emotion when we come out of the womb. We spend several years figuring out maybe our whole lives, figuring out how to handle our own emotions, right?
Yeah.
Once emotions are handled, then we can make good decisions. And that's what you and I have talked about.
Yeah.
And to a certain extent, right? It's eliminate the feeling. When emotions are high, logic is low, right?
Yep.
So let's bring emotions down, and then decision making comes in, right?
Yeah.
And then that's made the action. What do you think are some of the actions you've taken in the time that we worked together that have made the biggest difference?
I would say one of the practices that we have done is to place your mind and your thoughts, your thinking into your natural state of who you are. And I feel like that has been extremely helpful, because if I feel myself getting into a position where I'm feeling anxious or maybe stressed, or like I can't think clearly of like my next move, that has been really helpful to think, wait, I need to get back into my natural state, who I am. And it's, me consciously thinking about it now. So that practice has actually been extremely helpful.
So what is your natural state? How would you describe that?
My natural state?
Yeah.
My complete natural state is I am fun, I am talkative, and I love doing bold things. So when I am in my natural state, my stress levels are very minimal. Things can come up and things can happen, but I don't really, it doesn't bother me. It doesn't interfere, because I'm in that extreme positive, let's go, like what's coming next, and excited and ready to meet with anybody, literally.
Yeah, you've been pretty much unstoppable in our time, especially after the first couple weeks. And we talked about that rapid emotional processing of the only barriers that we have, say for instance, fear, right? It's a mile wide and a millimeter thick. Well, there's a way you can evaporate that. And most people are like, feel the fear, do it anyway. Well, actually, if I just feel into the fear, let it process a little bit, start to visualize what I actually want, I can instantly change my state.
Yeah.
Right. And that's, working with high level leaders, you'd be surprised at how often they have the same issues as everyone else.
Yeah.
Right? We all have the same playground issues when it comes to business and growing our life,
Yeah.
and it's just the same emotions. And if you can learn, you know what, that emotional state, maybe that doesn't even belong to me.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of our emotional states are just generational traumas or patterns or something like that that we choose to make important.
Yeah.
When in reality, our natural state is happy.
Yeah.
Our natural state is excited. Our natural state is content.
Yeah.
Right? And in the meantime, we're all trying to just pursue enjoyment to self-soothe, when in reality you can find that at any point.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, but I'm excited. I'm, in my early 40s, and I'm excited. I am so excited about my work every single day. I wouldn't trade it for the world. And because I have the ability to control my emotions, I hope that I get to work and do what I do for another 40 years.
Yeah.
I would not trade it for the world, right? Because that's actually what we're looking for. We want the daily ability to be great.
Yeah.
We want the daily opportunity to be great.
Yeah.
And so far, you've seized that every single day.
Aw, thank you.
Yes.
No, and I feel the same way. I love what I'm doing now. To meet people, and I do real estate, I do the podcast, to meet individuals and get to know individuals and their stories, and help showcase that with them is honestly one of the most rewarding things I've ever done, as far as my career. And it's funny because a couple years ago, I was really trying to decide if I should leave my corporate job, take that leap, and focus on what I wanted to build for my career and my life, doing what I loved. And it was scary. It was really scary. But I'm so glad that I did, because I truly enjoy what I do every day now.
And how's your self-worth since doing scary things? How's it changed, right?
Yeah. No, it really does. It does change, and you see different values within yourself. You get to know yourself differently.
One thing that I think too is I had people, women my age that know me come to me and say, this is really inspiring. Like, I've been wanting to make some changes. This is inspiring to see, which, is exciting. I want to be inspiring to other people, because it brings a different value to your life when you're really doing what you want to do, not what you feel like you have to do.
Yeah. And look, we don't need permission.
No.
We don't need permission to do anything. Right. And we're just waiting for people to acknowledge us. And that's our first mistake.
Yeah.
Right. Everybody else is looking for your acknowledgement.
Yeah.
Right. It's an amazing thing to be self-empowered. But, the number one thing that we can do to improve our self-worth is to face the things that we fear, no matter how small they are. I mean, getting up and not pushing snooze.
Yeah.
Right. Just getting up with the first alarm.
Yeah. Remember when I slept in on one of our sessions and I was like, oh, Seth, I slept in. I'm sorry.
Well, with kiddos and tuning puppies and like all of it, right? It's tempting to let that run your life, and it probably should sometimes.
Yeah.
Right. How's the family and the puppies doing?
Oh, they're so good. Chaos, man. I was when you were like, you must really like chaos. I'm like, yeah, actually, I live well in chaos.
Oh, I think I said, you're addicted to chaos, aren't you?
Yes.
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 That's not a bad place to be.
Yeah.
It's just, are you, you're going to it. Attracting chaos means that you can be the mediating factor in it. Right. And there's got to be some value behind that. I think people that are willing to face down challenges and go after, like, move into the storm, or the most valuable people, especially as we move forward now. I mean, with everything happening in technology, you literally have to clone yourself in order to keep up.
100%.
Right? Whether that's AI or on media or leveraging to employees, right? There's big challenges coming up, but I feel hopeful.
Yeah, I do too. And I think utilizing that technology and what we have makes a huge difference. I have found that to really reduce a lot of busy work that I don't need to be doing. Right. Yeah. Very helpful.
Yeah, for sure. We don't like busy work. I don't know about you, but I love my work, right? But I have self-care routines. I had a beautiful life outside work, and that's just as important, more important to me, right? Our job is to experience the world. You and I have had an amazing ride. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens around the corner with business, your podcast. You did mention can I drop something here on the podcast? You did mention some personal growth and women's retreats. Yeah. What do you visualize there? Can I put you on the hot seat a little bit?
Oh, yeah, so much. I have been so interested in wanting to do uh growth with women since I was young. Um I was a teen mom uh at 17. Yeah. And got married, went through the whole divorce and young 2 kids, and it really inspired me to always be an advocate for the youth. And that goes for, women and men. But as me being a woman and some of the experiences that I've had and how I have had to create my foundation in serious chaos um has brought a lot of beauty to my life. And I have always wanted to use my tools and what I have come to understand and grow for myself, my children, my family, and find myself, out of really bad situations. I've always wanted to use what I have learned to inspire others and to help others, grow within who they are naturally as well. So, women's retreats, business retreats. I mean, there are so many opportunities for people. And I think when you get into a room and you're surrounded by some of those powerful people that are making some of those powerful decisions as women, as leaders, as moms, entrepreneurs, your life changes. And what you need, you're attracting. And that's what I would love to execute. And so, yes, bringing in where we're going to be doing women's retreats and leadership retreats and really creating a foundation where individuals can go and grow. And that's what I love.
Yeah, and I can't wait to see that. I think that not only do they want to grow individually, but as you mentioned, people just want to connect.
Yeah.
I think even coming out of COVID, people are still a little bit broken.
Yeah.
They're still a little bit wary, but they're hopeful.
Yeah.
And I think that moving forward, we could either phrase it as we're moving into the era of AI, or we could say, we're moving into the era of reconnection.
100%. I like that. As it is, we do need to reconnect. And I get lonely. Like, I have to talk to people.
It's crazy. What a juxtaposition.
I know. And then sometimes, like, I talk so much that I have to go home and, like, just binge watch, like, Netflix for a little while and not talk to anybody.
Well, it is pretty addictive, and there are some good shows out there. They do hit on some good topics. We all have to recharge.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I'm an extroverted introvert. We've talked about, you're more extroverted, but we all have those various different sides, and not respecting them is what creates burnout. I do know that, trust is low in the world, but all it takes is just a little act of kindness, a little act of reaching out. What I really enjoy these days, and I think people are shocked by it, quite honestly, is just random calls to say hi.
Yeah. Just
Like,
say hi.
random reach outs. Like, oh, you don't want anything? No. I'm
Yeah.
literally just checking on you.
Yeah. Just seeing how things are going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there are other parts of the world. And I mentioned, friends that live overseas. They are so deeply interested in each other.
Yeah.
In fact, you'll never have a deeper conversation, and that's their average, right? Whereas in our culture, we're so guarded and we're so obsessed with status and we're so obsessed of being seen a certain way that we forget our role is, I forget what movie it is, right? I wish I could recall it, but the line in the movie is like, what is the purpose of marriage? Right. And it's such a beautiful answer. Purpose of marriage, the reason why you would marry someone is to be the witness of their life.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
And if we apply that to friendship,
That's everything.
your job is to be the witness of someone's life. And that's the greatest privilege of being a coach.
Yeah.
Is that I get to be the privilege of someone. That's the best part of being a coach, is that I get to be the witness of their success. And there is nothing better.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I think that puts it in really great words as to the why in that. Because I think you saying that brings to light why I really like what I do. Because that 100% witnessing growth in others is so extraordinary. Yeah.
I get almost emotional. Right?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and that's why, like, I know you and I have kind of talked too. Like, I love working with some of the entrepreneurs in their 20s that I've been chatting with and working with and kind of coaching some. It is so cool to watch them so hungry and to grow and what they can do and what they're capable of in their businesses and life. It's unbelievable.
It is. Well, I look forward to seeing your future success. I cannot wait. And it's pretty easy with you because we get to celebrate almost every single day.
I know. It's great.
Yeah. Well, and we all have tough days. We all have average days. But I think that's the important thing to remember, is that any one of us can walk out and change your life in a single day.
Yeah.
We can, if you can visualize that change, I think it's a true statement when we say, you're only a handful of conversations away from where you want to be.
Yeah.
And, my life was changed. While I didn't graduate, I went to Boise State, studied marketing. At the time, I was 20 and had a marketing and printing business and was traveling. I was in the ski industry and doing some really cool things. And
Yeah.
I wonder what would happen if I called the dean of the marketing school. And I got him on the line and he goes, sure, I'll give you a hall pass. What classes do you want to take? Being bold has serious benefits. And I think that there's a lot of people who respect bold action. And the reality is that, I talked about it last night at this entrepreneurs retreat, seeking approval is not going to get you anywhere.
No.
You have to be an outlier. Yeah. I love that book.
Yep.
And what will create success is being you.
Yeah.
And I can see that you're dedicated to that. And that's why we work together.
Yes. It's so fun.
When's our next one? Is my next question, right?
Yeah. When is our next one? Let's go.
That's right.
Let's get something on the books.
We will.
Well, I appreciate you being here today. This is such a good conversation, and it's just been amazing. It, just over the last several weeks working together, the growth that has come from it, and clarity, and just being able to make those bold decisions, and embracing authenticity. I just love it. It's been great.
Well, thank you. Now it's out in the open, so watch out. You're going to make even bigger decisions. It's going to be awesome.
Good. Announce it boldly, and then here you go.
Well, all things happen through words, and
Yeah.
You set an intention today, and I look forward to that. Thank you for the privilege, Lindsay.
Yeah. Thank you, Seth. Good seeing you.
You too.
Okay.